At the end of February, early March, a few days ago, I talked about the movement from the moon, the new moon, being in Pisces, the cosmic ocean, oneness, dissolution, and when the moon moves from Pisces into Aries, igniting the initiator, the individual, the I am presence, right? From water to fire. We are in a similar but different energy imprint now when the moon shifts from the sign of Cancer, which is all about surrender to what nourishes us, and that really lovely like yin receptive energy, which is the Cancerian waters of our being, and we ignite into Leo, which is the manifestation of our will lovingly. It's often called in esoteric astrology the marriage of love and will. And that is a very high octave of the Leo energy, the Leo archetype. The moon in Leo, the moon in most fire signs, is not the most comfortable area for our emotions. On its lower expression, Leo is often associated with self-centeredness, excessive attachment to uh, egoic creations. Leo is the part of us that is has a really is Leo is the part of us that is about everything that we create. This could be projects that we create. It could be versions of ourselves. It could be our children. Regardless of what it is that we're creating, if the energy around it is pridefulness, entitlement, over attachment, right? See me, look at me. That is an immature aspect of Leo. When the moon is in Leo, that energy of what is animating our excessive attachment can get illuminated. The journey here is, the last video was around the moon in Cancer. And so when we are deeply nourished and deeply healed, when we are at home in ourselves and in our lives, when we are at home in our bodies, we can then open up and be very nourished by these powerful earthy forces, almost like a tree drawing up all of the nourishments and the waters from the roots that then um, animate the tree's life force. That is also the move from the moon in Cancer to the moon in Leo, where the more we can draw up and in the nourishment, we can then be a much larger tree, a much bigger growth in terms of projects, in terms of life, in terms of what we're here to do and our soul's purpose. And this is where that aspect of our will comes in. Because Leo is a fire sign, it is about what aspect of us, what aspect of ourselves as creators, as creation itself, are we willing or manifesting into reality. So, when I know this, a really close friend of mine became a mom. Well, she became a mom a few years ago, and she just had her second child. And when she had her first child, obviously she had all these ideas of like what she would do and, where to take the baby, and it would be mom and baby yoga and all of this stuff as first-time mothers do. But now her first child is 4, and now she has a second child. And now she is not that she herself is very different, but she is now already a mother, right? With her first child, she was, a woman, and this was her first time. She was becoming a mother. So there was a lot of like, I could do this, I could do that. And she was figuring out how to be a mother for the first time. The second time around, her energy is much more grounded and stable and directional. Now that she has the experience of being a mother to one person, everything around what this second child may be like, including all the parts that she doesn't know, that's all fine. But now she knows who she is and how she is directing where her family is going in terms of what they value, how they want to live, what they value as a family. Right now, the parents, because they're the adults, but bringing their kids sort of forward. And in being around her and in talking to her, I'm actually now getting to see the difference where now she's thinking about 3 years ahead, 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. And without getting caught in cycles of overthinking, she is now able to make decisions for her first child, her second child, herself, her spouse, their house, their dog, and their cat in a much more aligned way. Because she's gone through the work of knowing what animates her as a mother as well as her as a family. And so this is where when we are able to stand in the essence of Leo, we're almost only able to do that when we have deep roots in Cancer, when we're able to draw in the waters and the nourishment, and now we can stand and express our will, the soul will, divine will through us. And this is where we can start to walk the path of actualization, where something that we dreamed back when the moon was in Pisces, now that desire has come into form through Aries, through Taurus, through Gemini, and is now nourished. So that now when we're in Leo season, it can now show up, it can sprout, it can flower, it can bear fruit. So this experience of being of creation in this way has a much more active and cyclical relationship with life. And this is another beautiful energy when the moon transits Leo, is it draws some light into what our relationship with life itself is. And that is actually, when you think of a fruit from a tree, and it might have a beautiful color, and then when you bite into it, all of the nectar, the taste, maybe the fragrance of the fruit, the first, the upper level of the fruit, say it's an apple, like it's crunchy, but then it's all like juicy inside. All of that is also creation. A lot of times when we're overly focused on simply manifesting, we are thinking of, I'm going to grow this tree and I'm going to get the fruit and I'm going to sell the fruit and make money. But in truth, and hopefully this is what you are coming to into yourself as we're going through this journey through Pisces season, through formlessness, and we're actually looking at these different aspects of creation. The aspect of creation that is how to create in formlessness, so that when we stand in our manifestation, when we stand in our will that is enacted lovingly, we can actually be very thankful when we pluck the fruit from the tree that we have grown right from seed, and we can slowly bite into it. Have the sensual experience of taste and smell and touch and visual senses and smell when we consume the fruit of our labor. And this is something a lot of us are terrible at, right? We just want to go and we want to consume and we want to create, and we forget the joy of creation. Both Cancer and Leo, though they're very different signs, one is water, one is fire, they are both interested. So Cancer is the sign that rules Cancer is the moon itself, and the sign that rules, and the energy that rules Leo is the sun itself. Every other sign in the zodiac has a planet associated with it except these two. Right? The sun and the moon, the solar and the lunar, the left side and the right side of the body, the masculine and the feminine aspect of creation, that birth creation itself in every person, in every life form. And so in this aspect, what we are getting to practice when the moon is moving through Cancer and now in Leo is we get to stand free of preferences in the joy of our creation and enjoy the flavors of it. Enjoy the taste of it. And in order to do that, we have to have a very clear sense of how our will is manifested. And because we've done all this work through the process of going through the formless and the unconscious nature aspect of creation, we can stand in a place when the moon is in Leo and step out of our self-centered, egoic, perhaps stubborn nature and enjoy the ever unfolding, cyclical aspects of creation. And that is an aspect of divine will. When we stand in or our personal will as divine will moves through us, right? As the earth's will moves through us. It is our will that is our inspired action manifested. And a big part of Leo energy is the enjoyment of that. What is the point in you creating all of these things when you are the last person to enjoy them? And so this is a big part of the energy where love and will they have a marriage in Leo season. And in the northern hemisphere, this is, the peak of summer. Right now, we're still in the winter season because we're following the lunar cycle of the moon in Leo while the sun is in Pisces. But again, all of these energies, when we sort of tap in or tune into them, they might become bigger later on in the year when the sun is actually in one of those signs. So I will leave that here with the marriage of will and love as the moon transits Leo.